Sony finally releases more information about their upcoming Dualsense Edge Pro controller. All the details are coming up. Hello and thanks for joining us today at Gears and Tech. Today we're going to review a lot more details about the Dualsense Edge controller. Now for those of you who are not familiar with the Dualsense Edge, it is Sony's answer to the Microsoft Elite controller for the Xbox. Now it's got a lot of really neat features and I don't want you to miss out on the excitement, so let's quickly recap what some of those features are. Here you can see them talking about the adjustable stick caps. So these would be similar to what I've got on this guy right here, which has adjustable stick caps already. Now you might have just had your mind blown over the fact that these adjustable stick caps are nothing new. That's because Extreme Rate has been making these stick caps for a lot of years for your PlayStation 4 controller, and they work on your PlayStation 5 controller. I've made quite a few videos showing you how to build your own customized PlayStation 5 controller. This just comes with, and in fact, if you look at it, it does look a little bit proprietary, so it's different than this. So I know if you have questions, can my Extreme Rate thumb caps fit on here? The answer is no from the stick perspective. If you were willing to change the entire thumb cap and the stick, then yes, they would work. So if you don't like the stick options that they give you, you could easily swap to these. That's not a big deal. Before we get too far into this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. If you've seen some of our content already and have not subscribed, we want you to join our community. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get back to the video. So you can see them attaching there, you can see the module. Now this is the biggest deal for me, the replaceable stick modules. It answers the question about stick drift. So if you have a controller that has stick drift, the module itself is not different. It's the same as what's in here, which means it will develop stick drift. But we're going to talk about the price of the controller and the price of all of these additional modules and stuff, and you will start to realize why I'm so excited about this. But your standard PlayStation 5 controller, this is a modded one, this is a standard one, you can't just swap these modules out. They're soldered onto the board unless you have some way to quickly remove that module. And Sony has found a way to make the controller still fit the same form factor and have these replaceable modules, which is a really, really big deal. Now this part here, changeable back buttons, this is also a big deal. So if we go back to here, this is an Extreme Rate modded controller. So I have the back buttons. This is only the version 2. So I have just 2 thumbsticks. I have built the Rise 4 with the 4 back paddles, but I just don't use them and it was not for me. I did have to make a little bit longer paddle extension on this side just so that when I grab it, I can click it with this finger, and then my grip over here, I'm able to get that. It's just the way I hold the controller. I needed it a little bit different. This one, the cool thing is, they don't really show it very well, but they are changeable back buttons. So there's a little hole in the controller and the trigger can slide into that hole and it will allow you to have a long trigger or just a short little button or a paddle or whatever it is that you're looking for. There's different options for that, which I'm really excited about that. Now, here's the other cool thing, adjustable trigger, stop, and dead zones. We're going back to my modded controller. My modded controller has what's called a clicky trigger, so there's no throw on these. So you look at the throw there, and then if you look at this is an unmodded controller, you look at the throw here. You see how much this one moves? And then you see how much this one moves, and it's just a little bit. It doesn't move a whole lot at all. So what this is doing, this little trigger stop, if you slide it all the way forward, it would simulate this kind of a trigger. If you move it to the middle, where it's showing right now, it would be about a half throw, and if you move it all the way to the end, it would simulate this kind of a trigger. That alone does not actually help you, because I've made adjustable trigger stops before. You also need to adjust the dead zones. By adjusting the dead zones, you can make it so that by pulling only this far, it acts like a full trigger movement. Or you can make it so that pulling this far is a full trigger movement. So you get that variable rate in between, which you lose with the clicky trigger mod that I've done on here. So this will allow you to function as a regular PlayStation 5 controller when you want it. You can adjust the trigger stop and the dead zones for when you're playing like a competitive game, Call of Duty or something like that. You can have those adjustable triggers. It's a really, really great thing. Now they talk about stick sensitivity and dead zones. Now, this is something that you've been able to do in most of your games for a while now. So you can adjust your dead zone and you can adjust your sensitivity already. What happens here though, is you can make this adjustment on the controller so that it follows you from game to game to game. Whereas the other way, it's software based only and it only is on that game. So you have to find yourself adjusting and tuning in every single game that you have. When we get to one of the other features, you'll understand why this is actually a really good thing to have. Now this is talking about immersive adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. That is the standard PlayStation 5 controller. All they're showing you is that you will be able to keep those features without losing them and still be able to have these other advanced features. One thing that I'm challenged with is this controller is set up great for first-person shooter games. As soon as I go to play a racing game, this button is either on or off. I do not have like that adjustability to it. So I'm either in a racing game, I'm full throttle or I'm no throttle, or I'm full brake or I'm no brake. That's become a problem for me when trying some of the newer racing games and stuff, because this controller just doesn't work. So now I have to have two controllers so that I can have one with my experiential games and one with my first-person shooter games. Now I know you're saying, well Anton, you've already got that purple one. This purple one is my wife's. She uses this on her PlayStation. I'm just borrowing it for this video. So I only have the one controller currently. Now here's the really cool thing. So they add a couple more buttons right here. These are the function buttons. And what those will do is allows you to quick swap profiles. This is integrated into the PlayStation firmware, so that when you push that button, it'll pull up the menu on the PlayStation and allow you to adjust stuff like your vibration, your stick sensitivity, your rumble, your trigger dead zones, and all of that into a profile. And in this case, we're looking at profile number 2. And then you can set that profile and use your favorite profile for your favorite games. I suspect you'll be able to even map your profile to the game, so as soon as you boot the game, it'll switch to that profile. The only thing it won't do is, you saw those adjustable trigger stops, you will still need to adjust those trigger stops manually, but the actual adjustment for your throw control will be digitally through that saved menu. And then there is the big deal at the end of the video. Pre-order starts 10/25. That is soon. It's actually probably already passed depending on when you're seeing this video. So on October 25th, they will be accepting pre-orders. The pre-orders will be first at direct.playstation.com. The actual launch date is January 26, 2023. So it's just after Christmas. I am very surprised that they are waiting until the new year to launch. My guess is that they think a lot of people are going to get a PlayStation 5 for Christmas, and then they'll just start begging their parents for this brand new controller soon after that. I kind of thought they would try to launch in November so that people that already have a PlayStation 5 can get this controller for Christmas, but I guess that's not going to be the case. Now, January 26th, what do you get? You'll get the Dualsense Edge controller, the USB braided cable, 2 standard caps, so that'll be the same as what these guys are right here. You'll also get 2 high dome caps. Now they say dome because these ones are actually concave, they dish a bit. The ones that I'm using on my controller here are the same, they dish a bit. Their dome caps, I've always referred to as the mushroom top, so it'll be a rolled top. Now that's going to be hard for me to get used to. I'm going to give it a try, but I might end up trying to go back to the Extreme Rate kit because I prefer the concaved ones. You'll also get 2 low dome caps, so they'll be the same height as these, but they'll be domed, and that'll be important for when you're doing a configuration like I have on this controller. So you'll see I have one tall one, and I have one regular height one. So if this one was domed or mushroom topped and you didn't have a low mushroom top option, this one would be concave, this one would be domed, and it would feel weird. You would start to feel like an Xbox player with like weird hand positions because they're not symmetrical controllers. And those of you who play the PlayStation have probably gotten used to the symmetry of the controller and you don't want to switch. It'll also come with 2 lever type back buttons and the carry case. So here is everything that's in that case. Now, interestingly, this picture shows 4 types of buttons. So you've got the lever types and you've got the button types, but on their list, it does not list that. Now the price. What's the price? The price is going to be $199 US. That is the suggested retail price. If you're buying it on Sony's website directly, you're probably gonna pay that $199. They do say that on the 25th, it will also be available at your favorite retailer. So you could also check, like up here in Canada, you could check Best Buy, you could check probably Amazon, maybe Costco, and most likely Walmart. There may be other retailers like your GameStops and that sort of thing. It's gonna be hit and miss depending on the stores that you're looking at. Similar to the PlayStation 5 launch. So that was kind of a bit of a gong show. This could potentially be the same. We'll see how it goes. Now the question you're gonna ask yourself is it worth it? $199, that might seem like a lot, especially when you're looking at a controller like this for, it's like what, $90 US? Well, up in Canada, they're about $100. It's about $70 US. So you're looking at an extra $100, $120 for the Edge controller. Now the question you're gonna ask yourself, why wouldn't I just buy 2 PlayStation 5 controllers? Well, you can, but then you don't get the features. The next question you're gonna ask yourself is, well, why can't I buy a regular one and do what you did and mod this out? And yes, you can do that. Now, just so you guys know, this controller, as you see it, so with the adjustable thumbsticks, with the clicky triggers, and with the back buttons, all of the additional attachments that I've bought for this controller are somewhere around 80 to 90 Canadian dollars. So you're looking at 60-ish US dollars. And that's just to buy the mods. Then somebody needs to install them. If you can't install them yourselves, you know, I would charge $100 to install these mods. So quickly, this becomes a $300 controller. When you keep that in mind, suddenly the Sony offering doesn't look so bad at $200 US. The other thing to add is there's certain things that you lose by going this route versus the Sony route. So first of all, the adjustable triggers, so you can have the clicky triggers when you need them, you can turn them off when you don't. I would love to have that feature. That feature alone justifies the cost of double the controller, because I personally am looking at having 2 controllers, one for first-person shooters and one for all those experiential games. So this controller is essentially a 2-in-1 controller. Also, with the swappable modules, when this controller develops stick drift, which fortunately it has not yet. I've been using this for about a year. I still don't have stick drift. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe it's not as big of a deal as people have said. But with those swappable modules, you can have a brand new controller every time you start to develop stick drift. Now those modules are going to retail at $19.99 US, and they will be also available starting day 1. You can pre-order them on the 25th of October, and they will be available starting at the end of January, just like the Edge controller is. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up for the PlayStation 5 in the new year. We are going to do our best to get our hands on one of these launch editions of this controller. I'm going to do everything I can so we can do a hands-on review of the controller and show everybody what we're thinking about it. Post in the comments if you got a pre-order and what you're excited about. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.